I'm thinking, would it be a bad idea for WWE to make the call to TNA? And then this is where things get a little bit tricky because I'm trying to think of somebody from TNA.
So, okay, before you even
you know
go,
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Before you even go, I want to say this. I hear you. I just don't know if it's... So, look, I get it. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? And I love the talent exchange, and I think doing it at certain times is appropriate.
Yeah.
But just overall, like, when it comes down to, like, a show like Stand and Deliver, no, I don't think you should make a call to TNA. Because then you're belittling the stars that you already have on your show.
But Billy, they're not building the stars right now.
So that's the thing. That's the problem that we need to fix. And if we're going to fix it, we need to fix it now.
Okay, so how do you fix it right now? Who is on the roster right now that you feel like can easily be a credible challenger for Oba Femi?
Credible?
Yeah, right now.
Somebody like Charlie Dempsey. I think he is credible enough.
You think Charlie Dempsey right now in this situation after being a Heritage Cup?
Okay.
You think they're gonna? Okay. You think that Charlie Dempsey is going to be able to go?
No.
And be a believable winner?
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you have time. Remember, we're in a slow burn era.
Okay.
Start burning that.
Okay.
And start telling me a story.
For sure. But I want you to use a little bit of logic based on how people have been presented or utilized in the last 6 months.
And yes, I can understand that.
Because I can easily say Wes Lee, but Wes Lee, in my opinion,
we've already seen him in Oba.
But it's not even about what we've already seen. We're talking about people in the world title picture that are believable, that are built up to beat Oba Femi. The answer that I have is the answer that everybody's going to hate, and it's not even an answer that I agree with. But if there's somebody that they've actually tried to build up as a powerhouse on NXT that can match Oba Femi, it's Ridge Holland.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I don't like that. I don't like that. And I think that's one of those things where WWE kind of got it wrong. They tried building him up as this heel, as this guy that can, win and be powerful or whatever, but they haven't really done that. And that's what I'm saying. The men's title scene is very lackluster. And I think tonight's episode of NXT was really good, but it exposed the fact that once Oba won this belt, there's really nobody that is truly credible. And maybe making that call to TNA and having that TNA star being featured on television right now.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So if you're saying if we get it started right now,
yeah,
sure. Again, I still hold that problem though. And I don't think anybody can necessarily change my mind on this. I still hold that problem of you are not doing enough with your talent. Don't take away from them. Build somebody on your own roster.
So do you think it's WWE's fault that there's people not necessarily ready for that spot?
I think you're always going to run into a problem like this, no matter what, if you focus on one rather than the other. Look at the way we talk about the women's division on something like Raw, or on SmackDown, or on AEW. We talk about how the women aren't featured enough, and sometimes it could be a little lackluster with the women. They tell good stories, but it's a little lackluster. NXT, we're just so happening to have that problem with the men. That's our problem right now.
Okay. But you think it's coming from a lack of what? Being used? What's... Because
I mean, it has to be a WWE problem.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay. So the reason why I say it has to be a WWE problem is because it's their show. They're the ones telling these stories.
For sure.
Shawn Michaels is telling these stories. It has to fall on him. Now, I will say this. It also falls on a talent because, talent, they always say, you should...
You got to pick one or the other. Talent or WWE? Is it the Booker's fault or is it the talent?
I mean, I'll start off by saying it falls where the higher up is.
Okay.
So I'm saying it's a WWE problem.
Okay. So here's the thing about NXT, and I just pulled up the roster just so I can give you some examples.
Yeah. Yeah.
To a certain extent, I do agree that WWE is the issue, right?
Yeah.
I think leadership in terms of recruiting or developing certain talent has been an issue. I think Eddie Thorpe is a legitimate person that could go for the world title on NXT.
Yep, we talked about that.
Do I think he's ready or as credible or believable to beat Oba Femi? No, but based on the last few weeks of television, they can start there, right? But I'm going to give you some ideas.
Go ahead, hit me.
Some of the best talent in NXT right now belong to a faction of some kind. Tony D'Angelo is one that I think could be very, very credible. He's the one
Absolutely
who obviously got the North American Championship, and we know there is history between him and Femi. So maybe Tony D'Angelo could be in the mix, but it's something we have seen. But if I look at this roster, and I'm going to give you some examples here, Sean Spears, he's kind of got some stuff going on TV, but he's not really winning like singles matches every single week. He's not necessarily climbing the ladder for the world title. Tavion Heights is somebody who went to Pro Wrestling Noah. He did a little bit of an excursion, and he's amazing, right? Like he's an amazing talent. He's really getting good at what he's doing. But Tavion Heights is currently doing the tag team stuff with Miles Bourne. So he's not been presented as a singles guy. Now, other than that, I'm looking at this roster, and I think there's a lot of guys who are just simply not ready to be world champion until the time comes. And that means they have to develop. They actually have to get better. They actually have to improve. They actually have to get over with the crowd. So, for example, like Joe Coffey and Gallus, like Joe Coffey can go for a world title and probably would be relatively good, but at the end of the day, Gallus shouldn't really be in NXT anyways. It's not like Joe Coffey is like this up and coming rising star. So I look at that. I look at, okay, this is a perfect example. Brooks Jensen, talented guy, breaks away from Josh Briggs, but hasn't been built up. He's not really doing things in a way that's like convincing that he would be ready for a world title. I think you can make that argument. Same thing for Andre Chase. I think you can make that argument for Duke Hudson. If you actually look at the NXT roster, it's very thin. And this comes from the standard of how they recruit talent and what they're bringing in. So a lot of these guys.
Can I be honest with you? Can I be honest with you?
No, I want you to lie, Billy.
Too bad. I'm not. I'm here to tell you that no matter what happens and no matter who they choose to build, I'm going to say this, and it might be a hot take, but Femi is not going to be champion long. They are going to send him to the main roster.
Wrong, bro. Disagree 100%. No. They have no guys that are credible enough to take the belt off of him. So what's the solution? What's the solution? Move him to the main roster and get the belt off of him? No, they're going to fucking let him hold it forever.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to start building a guy soon because they know they don't want to keep Femi down there.
Brother, listen, I'm going to be so real with you. Penta's going to Raw. Penta's going to Raw. Until Rey Fenix comes into WWE, Penta should be going to NXT, going for the world title. He had a sick-ass title reign in 2019 in Impact.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen.
I know it's not going to happen, but that would have been a solution because WWE could have easily made the decision to say, hey, let's put him on NXT, let him do some single stuff until Phoenix is there. Okay, Josh Alexander, we don't know if he's going to go to NXT first or Raw, SmackDown, whatever. We don't even know if he'll choose WWE.
So that's what I'm saying. Josh Alexander could easily be somebody you could bring in right now and take that title off of Femi.
But do you know what this issue stems from? This stems from WWE not having talent that are developing at a faster rate in the men's division. This also stands to be an issue with WWE for how they recruit talent. So, for example, when Ethan Page came in and immediately got hot-shotted, it's because he filled a void. The thing that a lot of people need to understand here, and this is where WWE NXT truly does struggle, and nobody seems to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it. This might ruffle some feathers, unfortunately, but the truth is these NXT developmental contracts are not high paying. So if I was a Josh Alexander, I want main roster money. And the reason why I want main roster money because guess what? AEW is going to offer main roster money. And this is going to be a significant problem for WWE. By the way, with AEW, people need to remember this. AEW just got that new TV deal. Tony Khan has no problem spending money. He spends money like a little kid inside of GameStop. You know, he ain't looking at the prices and shit. You got a gift card for $50. He wants to buy everything. So
yeah, bro's going in there and he's cashing out.
So the thing is, this actually really stems from WWE. You know, they don't have talent that are developing at a rapid rate.
At a fast enough rate.